Kolbrin Bible, Book 5, Chapter 33, Speculation, Part 20. The whole chapter might retell the myth of Osiris, Isis, Horus, Set, but the name for Isis doesn't match. MAN 33:27. Now, this Osiris, of whom I speak, is even he whom the people of this land have made a god. For the twice-born who have wisdom have let it be thus. Call him man or call him God. It is a matter of small importance, for the boundary between them is not impassable. Petty men will argue about the distinctions of words, but they would be better engaged in discovering truth. Osiris was ever enshrined in the hearts of the common folk, who had believed in immortality from the beginning. It was not so much their ignorance that obscured the light of truth, but rather the structure erected by hypocrisy and pomp, by avarice and ambition. Down through the ages, this belief in immortality persisted over the official view, which held that no more than a few might hope for immortality, and that mainly ensuing from the efforts of others. In the days of the first pharaohs, it was different. Then immortality was the reward of all people, though only collectively, and under the leadership and guidance of the king. Nevertheless, the immortality of the common folk and the immortality of the twice-born were not alike. 33:27. We have the implication that Osiris is the Osiris, the god. Yet, much of this has implied that Narmer is also the same person who was human. The writer mentions that God or human is just words, and it was decided for the masses' best interest to allow them to believe him a god, probably because he united the two lands, and the fear was of chaos. Out of kindness, the wise chose to lie so that trust in institutions would not falter. It's more like arrogance. They liked the power and didn't trust the people with the truth. This also leads to future pharaohs to claim they are gods. Probably the reasoning was the same, to keep chaos from spreading, but it allowed leaders to become spoiled, pampered. The petty saw the advantages and soon used the lie for their own wants and desires, while only telling the public it was for society's own good that all this sacrifice was needed. The masses already believed in immortality, so it was easy to twist the original ideal from keeping the divine essence on earth to resurrection, a belief that free will must be sacrificed, focused on doing as Pharaoh said. It also would explain when tragedy happened, trusted leaders fell, and desire to get rid of that leader increased. After all, free will is the price. If the sacrifice is high, then the product should at least do what it was expected to do. The writer talks about it not being the ignorance of the masses, but the structure erected by hypocrisy. They use the ignorance to create stability, but over time, petty people rise during peace and prosperity. Once infected, those institutions that once worked for the people soon oppress them. This leads to anger that builds, because the more free will is taken away, the more individuals would disagree on how much they will sacrifice for what is offered. Balance between society's needs and the individual's free will is necessary to peace and prosperity. It all started with that one decision to allow the masses to think of Osiris as God. That starts the slide. That eventually leads to the downfall. And yet it went a long time before the institution so decayed to the point it destroyed itself. Osiris did seem to plan well. In Book 4, Sons of Fire, same thing. A decision after horrific tragedy, war, followed by natural catastrophic disaster. Those survived cried, "How could God let this happen?" Trust in institutions was low, so it was decided to tell them there was life after death. This leads to preserving the bodies. Verses 13:7 to 13:16. Verses I refer to as verses 13:12 to 13:15 of Book 4, the Sons of Fire. Notice how things changed, and the times fell into chaos, and how once the chaos ended, how they took the wrong lessons, refused to look back, and so sowed the seeds for the next fall, and the next, until finally it was too weak to stand on its own. Others came in to take it.